Good morning, squad. Welcome back to MadMizzy Sports Morning Show, the #1 spot for everything sports talk, sports news, sports debate in the morning. Hope y'all had a fun, safe, beautiful, adventurous weekend. Seeing as y'all back to me today, I'm presuming y'all had a safe weekend. And we got a beautiful rundown today. Of course, we got to go back, recap Sunday. Are the Cowboys the favorites in the NFC after beating on the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota yesterday? Beast versus beast. Who's the better division? The AFC East or the NFC East? And to end it off, well, not to end it off, to end off the Sunday recap, same old Patrick Mahomes. Oh my goodness. Then we're going to move on. Breakdown Saturday. Not breakdown Saturday, but give y'all a little update on the injury news from Saturday from two Heisman candidates, Hendon Hooker, Blake Corum. Give y'all the injury updates on that. Then we're going to shift gears and focus on the NBA and the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving returned to the Brooklyn Nets yesterday, and Ben Simmons had a 22-8 game as they beat the Memphis Grizzlies in Brooklyn yesterday. So I got to touch on that. But before we end it off, of course, y'all know I got to break down Monday Night Football of my San Francisco 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals in Mexico City, though, and give y'all my key matchup for that game and a prediction for that game. Let's get right into it, gang. What another great Sunday slate of games yesterday. And diving right into it, we had some close games yesterday. We had some blowouts yesterday. But let's start off with the blowout in Minnesota. Are the Dallas Cowboys the favorites in the NFC after beating the Minnesota Vikings 40-3? I'm going to say still no. When I look at are they the favorites, to me it's like, would you take them versus the field? And I'm not taking the Dallas Cowboys versus the field until they prove it. They got to prove that they can come in and be consistently this team moving forward. They had one more game left with the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a few more games left just in that tough NFC East division in general. So we got to see how that pans out. I still wouldn't pick them over my San Francisco 49ers, and I still wouldn't pick them over the field of the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Bucks being there too. So I'm going to say I like what I'm seeing from the Dallas Cowboys, but it's almost like the Minnesota Vikings win last week. We see a game like this out of the Dallas Cowboys every year where it's like, oh, are they different? Nah, they got to prove it in the playoffs first. They got to prove it in prime time. So to me, it was just a great win, a win that the Cowboys needed, but it doesn't make me look at them like, oh my goodness, they the favorites. My Niners, I don't know what they going to be able to do with them. Doesn't make me look at that at all. But let's speak on beast versus beast, AFC East versus the NFC East, and which division is better right now. For me, I'm going to lean towards that NFC East. Not just because I'm in Philadelphia, and of course the Philadelphia Eagles are a team that's in the NFC East. But when you look at it, to me, I think the NFC East has two Super Bowl contenders. I think the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles are very strong Super Bowl contenders. And when I look at the AFC East, I like what I'm seeing out of the New York Jets, out of the New England Patriots, and then you got the #1 team, that's the Miami Dolphins. But I still don't think the Miami Dolphins are a Super Bowl contender, and I definitely don't think that the New England Patriots or the New York Jets are Super Bowl contenders this year. So to me, you only have Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills as a true Super Bowl contender, although they all have winning records and are playing well in that NFC East, in that AFC East. And then I look at it, the NFC East top to bottom has better quarterbacks. Yes, the top, you got Josh Allen, you got Tua Tagovailoa over there in the AFC East, but then to end it off, you got Mac Jones and you got Zach Wilson. Then you look at the NFC East. At the top, you can almost match the AFC East with Jalen Hurts and then Dak Prescott. And then you look at the bottom, you got Daniel Jones and you got Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke and Daniel Jones that have been playing out of this world so far this year. Taylor Heineke led his team to the playoffs just a few years ago. And then Daniel Jones has been finally getting it turned around under Brian Daboll. So I like what I got. I like what they have over there in the NFC East. So I'm going to say that the NFC East is a slightly better division in my opinion. But let's move on to the last game of Sunday, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs at the Los Angeles Chargers in the same old Patrick Mahomes, man. What more can we say about this dude? The start to his career has just been utterly amazing. You leave him the ball with any time left, he's going to go down there and he's going to make a play. He's going to score 9 times out of 10. The only time he really hasn't done it was in the AFC Championship game where he threw that late interception. What was that? Was that late in the fourth quarter or in overtime? One of those two, but he threw that late interception, throwing it up there to Tyreek Hill. To me, that's why it was shocking that Keyshawn Johnson and all these national analysts were going around saying that the Los Angeles Chargers basically would have won that game if they would have scored a touchdown and instead of throwing an interception when they had the ball in the red zone while they were playing the Chiefs in Kansas City in week 2. It was the whole fourth quarter left, and they would have only went up 7, just like they only went up 4 last night. And you would have had the whole fourth quarter that you got to stop Patrick Mahomes, which we know they can't do in crucial situations. Patrick Mahomes approached that situation a little bit differently just because they were up 7. You don't have to make a play. They have to make a play before we have to make a play, and that's exactly how it went down. To me, it's just same old Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the game, best start of any quarterback to his career of all time. Patrick Mahomes, same old dude. Let's move on to Saturday and the injuries that happened. My guy Blake Corum got hurt against Illinois Fighting Illini in a win. 19-17 over the Fighting Illini with no Blake Corum in the second half, only 1 carry for 5 yards in the second half. But his quote after the game was, "I will be back." So I'm hoping he'll be back for the Ohio State game this Saturday. Prayers out to Blake Corum. Hopefully you can get healed up and rested and back on the field by Saturday. Then we got the huge news of Hendon Hooker being out for the season, torn ACL in the 63-38 loss to South Carolina. I just remember that game. I was watching that game, and that Tennessee Volunteers defense couldn't do anything with Spencer Rattler in that South Carolina offense. Spencer Rattler is a top prospect in college football. When he was with Oklahoma, they thought he was about to be the next Patrick Mahomes. So seeing him do what he did in South Carolina, I know that's going to do numbers for Spencer Rattler's confidence. But just thinking about Hendon Hooker being a top Heisman candidate, having his ACL torn, losing the last 2 games, just a tough way to end off your college career. Prayers out to Hendon Hooker, and I'm praying for a speedy recovery, brother. Let's move on now to the NBA. Kyrie Irving was back on the court for the Brooklyn Nets, going against the Memphis Grizzlies in Brooklyn. Went out there, had 14-5 in a win over the Memphis Grizzlies. But I want to focus on, has Ben Simmons finally turned the corner? Ben Simmons yesterday had 22-8 in a win over the Memphis Grizzlies. In his last 3 games, he's averaging 16 points, 8 rebounds. You think about the first half before the last 3 games, he only had 47 points scored. He only had 47 points scored in that before these last 3 games. In the last 3 games, he has had 48 points scored. This man has absolutely gone out there and addressed the issues that has been plaguing his game lately, and that's just the mental aspect. He's going out there and just playing ball. He's not thinking about it. He's going out there and laying the ball up. He's not looking for other players. He's getting close to the rim. He's finishing it. So I like what I'm seeing from Ben Simmons, turning it around. The Brooklyn Nets won the last 2 games against 2 top Western Conference opponents, beating the Portland Trailblazers and then beating the Memphis Grizzlies last night. So you look at the last 2 games on a 2-game win streak, Ben Simmons balling, Kyrie Irving back in the lineup. I'm not going to say that they're going to contend for the Eastern Conference or for a championship this year, because they won't. But can they turn it around and be a playoff team this year and maybe upset one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference this year if they make it into the playoffs? Yes, they can, and I like what I'm seeing. And Jacques Vaughn is doing a great job. You had Ben Simmons back in the starting lineup yesterday, so that was a great move. I like what I'm seeing from the Brooklyn Nets. Got Kyrie Irving back out there. Ben Simmons playing like the Ben Simmons that was in Philadelphia, and then we got KD being KD. So Jacques Vaughn, props out to you for turning around this ship after the firing and departure of Steve Nash. I like what I'm seeing down there in Brooklyn. Let's move on to Monday Night Football. San Francisco 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals in Mexico City. What's going to go on? I better tell you this. The Arizona Cardinals better hope that DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray play. I know that because they are both right now questionable. Kyler Murray's dealing with an injury. He wasn't playing last week. And then you think about DeAndre Hopkins out of nowhere has another hamstring injury. This dude and his hammies, man, I don't know what's going on. I mean, he is long and lanky, so I'm assuming it's a lot of stress, a lot of strain on them hamstrings. But if DeAndre Hopkins is any way hindered or held back because his hamstring, listen, I don't think they have a shot. I don't think they have a shot. And if Kyler Murray doesn't play, they dang sure ain't got no shot. They dang sure ain't got no shot. We not losing to Colt McCoy in Mexico City with our defense being healthy, and the Arizona Cardinals giving up 110 yards on the ground as we average 123 yards per game on the ground. The Arizona Cardinals, like I said, they better pray that DeAndre Hopkins can go out there and ball for the entire game, and that Kyler Murray will be able to go tonight. If not, they're going to get absolutely rom-shot. If Kyler Murray can't play and DeAndre Hopkins is hindered or not at 100% in any way, then they'll get ran off the field. I see it being 34-20 7 at that point. But if DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray do play, I see it being like 34-17. I see it being 34 for us just because the defense is going to come out there and they're going to make some plays. I see either a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown today coming from my San Francisco 49ers, and then we're going to get 27 good solid points out of that offense. So that's what I see. I'm going to say 34-17. I'm going to lean towards Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins playing. Let me know what y'all think. Sunday recap. Are the Cowboys the favorites in the NFC? Beast versus Beast. Who's the better division, the AFC East or the NFC East? And same old Patrick Mahomes. I don't even have to say anything else. The update on Blake Corum's injury and Hendon Hooker's injury. Recap of NBA, Sunday NBA, and Ben Simmons going out there balling out 22-8 yesterday, and then a return of Kyrie Irving with 14-5 and a win over the Memphis Grizzlies, and then breaking down Monday Night Football of my San Francisco 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals in Mexico City. Key matchups and predictions. Let me know what y'all think. This is MadMizzy Sports Morning Show. Like, comment, share, subscribe, listen, alert. MizzyWorld Entertainment. Gang.